everything gets refreshed. Well, right about now, we have pretty much the opposite going on. We have the luster of fall, the spectacular fall colors coming out and blasting away at our senses, and it's a beautiful thing. And then we're going to have this winter coming up where we're not going to see a whole lot of color for a while, and then when winter ends, the color green will return and explode, and we'll smell its freshness. We'll be able to see life coming back into everything and the benefits of what a season of hibernation can do for our land. Well, in a similar sort of sense, you're studying your schoolwork now, and based on the how important your schooling is, I hope you're focused enough on that it's kind of like some other parts, excuse me, of your life are fading to brown, so to speak, and not really being the excitement and the focus that you would want it to be. But I do promise you that those times change, that the color green returns, and that you are going to be able to really benefit from and prosper from the efforts that you give at school right now, so that you can, kind of live more of the dream life that you want to do. Okay. So, with that in mind, let's do a little bit of review. All right, these first three questions are each multi-step equations. I've looked at your work, I've seen your quiz grades, I've seen your test grade. I think that you are very strong at these, so I don't think you need me to show you step by step exactly what's going on. I think I can show you the answers, and then you can self-reflect and self-assess, and you can figure out, hey, I might have gone a little astray here, and oh, look, I nailed it there. Finding a way to really prosper and do well. All right, so go ahead, answer those three questions using stop and start. All right, so here's the correct answers. The first one is the 3, the second one is the -5, and the last one is the 2. Now, you can check each of these answers and make sure they're correct. Plugging in the 3, 3 minus 4 is -1, 2 times -1 is -2, plus 15 is 13, and so on for the other 2. All right? I would say that if you happen to get any of these 3 wrong, now that you know what the answer should be, you can be a little self-reliant here, and you can guide yourself to what the answer should be. If you cannot, then you may talk to a classmate, or you can see me, and I can help you with it, and we'll do whatever we can to get it straightened out. Next question is to solve for m, y equals mx plus b. A little literal equation here, a little bit of review. Begin. Okay, so by now you should have finished your work. I want to get solve for m, which means I want to get the m all by itself. Step 1 is to subtract the b from both sides, okay? And once I have the b subtracted from both sides, I get y minus b equals mx. Then I need to divide both sides by the x. And of course, these x's over here would cancel out. Go die, get abducted by aliens, squished by Sasquatch. Bottom line is, m is equal to y minus b over x. Solving these literal equations is a skill that you should have. It was on your first test, it will be on your second test, and it is going to be on quizzes. Okay, so these are the types of word problems we'll be working on throughout this series of videos for lesson 13. First, there's your basic one-step percent questions. Then there's your two-step percent questions, a little more challenging. Then a series of geometry applications. We need to talk about perimeter review. Done a lot of perimeter. Also done a lot of the 3 angles of a triangle, but it helps to review that. Complementary, supplementary, almost as much of that, but we need to hit on that as well. Isosceles, very important. We introduced this topic just last lesson for the first time. Okay, and then we get into some find the number questions. Pretty straightforward, little bit easier types of word problems with algebra. And then we come into consecutive integer questions. Now, the isosceles, other than the other day, was brand new. And the other topics, finding the number and consecutive integer, those were covered, but we're coming back to emphasize them now. All right, so next up is some fundamental basic percent problems. do these two questions. Do both of them. I think you're ready for both at once, and then I'll go over the correct answers. Okay, percent over 100 is equal to the part over the whole. That's the percent proportion. We always work with this. And this is your simple, basic, straightforward ones. We know that the what and the is go together. We know the 45 and the percent, and we know the of and the 300. So I substitute them into the correct places in the percent proportion here, and I cross multiply. Remember, 45 goes in the percent, and the of is the 300 there. Cross multiplying, 100 n equals 13,500. Dividing by 100, and I get n is equal to 135. Okay? Next up, 20 is what percent of 190? Go ahead, give it a shot, and then we'll do stop and start. Okay, so percent over 100 equals part over whole, or is over of. It says what percent, so I put the n in the percent place. 20 is, so that goes in the top. The is goes in the top, and the 190 is of, so that goes in the bottom. Cross multiplying, 190n equals 2,000. Divide, and I get 10.5%. I rounded that off to get there, but 10.5% it is. Okay, now a couple of word problems that require more than one step. We'll go through the first one together as we did the last time we did similar questions to this. Jenny's looking to impress on a job interview. She spots a dress on sale for 25% off. The original price of $189.99. Jenny also has to pay 8.5% sales tax. Jenny is super smart and she knows better than to put it on a credit card because that's a painful lesson she will have to learn. So, she had $150 in her pocket. Can she afford the dress? First thing I notice here is, since it's a percent problem, the first thing I want to do is find the sale price, and I set out the percent to do that. Now, there are two ways to do finding the sale price thing. The first thing is we can figure out what the discount is and subtract the discount from the original price. Perfectly reasonable to do that. The second thing that you can do is that you can say, okay, instead of doing that subtraction, which may get a little bit ugly, I can just say, look, if I'm going to save 25%, I'm going to spend 75%. So I'm going to put a 75 in the percent place over 100 equals, and then you get into, well, what you can say is that the whole cost of the dress is $189.99, and what you need to do is find out what the discounted part of the dress is. Okay, so I cross multiply. 100x equals 14,249.25, dividing by 100, and I get 142.49. Okay, so that would be the sale price of the dress, 142.49. Again, if you use the 75%, because if you save 25, you spend 75. To me, that's the quickest, easiest way to go about it. But you could easily put a 25 in there. You will find a number, and then you have to subtract that from 189.99. If you do, you'll also come up with 142.49. Okay. Then the next step, is to find the sales tax. Now remember, that sales tax is out of the whole cost that you're going to pay, and you're only paying the 142.49, and the tax rate is 8.5. So I cross multiply, and I get 100t equals 8.5 times 142.49 is 1211.17, dividing by 100, and I get $12.12. So can she afford the dress? Well, the dress is $142.49, and the closing cost, the clothes alone would be, or the tax on the clothes. The clothes cost alone is $142.49. The sales tax is $12.12. You add it up, you get $154.61. She's only got $150 in her pocket. No. Jenny cannot afford the dress. Okay, you try this one now. Oh. Well, I apologize. We'll have to go through this one together. I thought that, well, wait a minute now. I guess I See, I didn't realize I also had the answer up on this. So then let's just go through it together. Same setup, okay? Since she's saving 25 and I'm spending 75, so that works out to be 75% of 179.99. That works out to be 134.99. And then again, I want to emphasize, if you save 25%, you spend 75%. Then finding the sales tax, 8.75 is the decimal equivalent of the sales tax. Out of 100 equals the tax over the new cost, which is 134.99. You don't get paid tax on the before discount, only in the after discount. Which reminds me, that's how they rip you off with cars when you buy a car and you get a rebate. They tax you before the rebate. The government does that so the government doesn't lose your tax money. Sneaky government. Okay, 100t equals 1181, because I'm going to cross multiply here, 0.184375. Dividing by 100, and I get $11.81. Last but not least, find the total cost of the dress. Well, the cost is $134.99, which we figured out up here, and $11.81 is the tax. Add them up, you get $146.80. Yes, Jenny can afford the test. All right, so that is our percent problems. We'll get on to geometry in a minute.